I want to start this video by saying something that most artists within this industry will find controversial, to say the least. Not every blowout is purely the artist's fault. The industry has almost trained tattoo artists to take responsibility for everything that happens on the skin, and in some aspects rightly so, and in many ways that is the right instinct. We are putting permanent marks on people. We should care about the end result and we should learn from our failures. But, and a huge but, the assumption that every blowout is directly the artist's fault is incomplete. It is missing a huge variable, a big one. And until you understand that variable, you cannot, borderline impossible, to accurately diagnose what went wrong when a blowout happened. And therefore, you cannot accurately improve. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the variable that nobody warns you about. I'm going to show you when a blowout is on the artist and when it is on the skin itself. And I am going to take on a specific piece of advice that you'll find everywhere online that I believe is wrong and that I think is responsible for a lot of unnecessary failures in beginners' work. If you've ever produced a blowout and then laid awake afterwards wondering whether you are bad at this, then this video is for you. Let me start with what a blowout actually is mechanically. If you've watched my video on what a tattoo is, you already know the answer in principle. A tattoo is a pigment deposited into the dermis, the second layer of skin, where it gets trapped and stays there permanently. A blowout is what happens when that pigment goes deeper than it should. It scatters into the lower dermis, the hypodermis, the third layer of skin, beyond that narrow band where it should have been placed. The body cannot heal cleanly around those scattered pigments. The fine sealed lines that a proper tattoo produces cannot form when the ink is spread through multiple layers of tissue down into that third hypodermis layer. The visible result after healing is that fuzzy, blurred halo around the line that we often call and refer to as a blowout. It is, at its core, a failure in depth control. The needle went deeper than it should have at some point during the tattoo, and the pigment ended up where the body could not seal around it cleanly. That is what a blowout is in its definition. Now here is the important part that I believe. The cause of the depth failure is not always 100% down to the artist and their ability. This is the variable that almost nobody teaches. Let's just take a moment and think about it. Most beginners think of skin as uniform. They assume that skin is skin, that a tattoo on a forearm and a tattoo on a wrist are happening on the same material, that the same depth setting, the same pressure, the same technique should, in theory, produce the same results everywhere. This is completely wrong on all levels. Skin varies dramatically across the human body. It varies in thickness. The skin on your back is several times thicker than the skin on your inner wrist. Areas like the upper arm or the thigh have substantial layers of skin between the surface and the underlying tissue. Areas like the inner wrist, the top of the foot, the ankle, have very little skin to work with at all. It varies in elasticity. Younger skin is taut and resilient. Older skin can be loose, thinner, and a lot more fragile. The same needle at the same depth in the same body location can produce completely different outcomes depending on the age of the client. It varies in vascularity. Some areas of the body sit close to large blood vessels. Some areas behave differently under a needle. They bleed more easily, they bruise more easily, they process ink differently. It varies in proximity to bone. So when skin is stretched over a bone, like the wrist, the ankle, the ribs, the collarbone in particular, there is nowhere for the skin to give. The skin cannot absorb the impact of the needle in the same way it can on softer, more cushioned areas. It also varies in hydration. Well hydrated skin behaves mechanically different from hydrated skin. A client who's been drinking water all week and a client who's been drinking nothing but coffee for 3 days will produce different results, even on the same body part. It also varies with sun damage, with age, with weight changes, with previous scarring, with how the client's been treating the body in the days leading up to the session. All of this affects how the skin responds to a tattoo needle. That is a lot of variables, and most beginners are not taught any of this. What happens? They go in with a single technique, a single depth assumption, a single pressure, a single approach, and they apply it across radically different skin types, on radically different body parts, on radically different clients. And then they wonder why the results are inconsistent. The results are inconsistent because the canvas itself is inconsistent. You are not tattooing the same material every single time. You are tattooing whatever skin is in front of you on that day. And every day, in every session, it is going to be different. So let me give you some specifics. The areas of the body that produce blowouts more frequently than others, and we'll also touch on why that is as well. The inner wrist, one of the highest risk areas in all of tattooing. The skin is super thin, often only a fraction of a millimeter thick. It sits directly over tendons and bone. There is almost no give. The needle that would land safely in the dermis on a forearm can punch straight through the dermis on a wrist and scatter pigment below in that lower hypodermis layer. The inner bicep, it can be soft, loose, low in elasticity sometimes. The skin gives easily under the needle, which can pull the artist deeper than intended. Beginners who are used to working on tauter areas often go too deep here without even realising. The ankle and the top of the foot, the skin stretched over the bone, often with reduced blood flow in that area as well, so slower healing. There's high risks of blowout and high risks of healing complications in both those locations. The ribs, another one. Thin skin over bone and a moving surface that changes shape every time the client breathes. It's hard to maintain that constant stretch and hard to maintain consistent depth. Inside of the elbow crease, now constantly flexing tissue. Thin skin, complex anatomy underneath. That's a really difficult one as well. These are all areas where the same technique that works flawlessly elsewhere will routinely produce blowouts. Not because the artist did anything wrong as such, because the skin is mechanically more vulnerable. If you're working on any of these areas and you're relatively new, you should be adjusting your technique before you ever switch the machine on. It should be a thought process prior to actually tattooing the customer. That brings me to the skill that almost nobody teaches explicitly as a standalone thing, and that is reading the skin. Before you tattoo, you should be touching the skin, stretching gently with your fingers, assessing its thickness by feel, pressing it to see how much give there is, feeling for bones underneath, noticing the elasticity, noticing the temperature of the customer, noticing how it responds to even just light pressure. You're gathering information about the canvas that you're about to work on. Now that sounds like a lot, but over time, with enough repetitions, this becomes almost automatic, and you can read a piece of skin within seconds. You know what you're working with before you even start, and you adjust your approach accordingly. That is a super skill, almost like a superpower to have as a tattooist. Now, this is where I want to say something that goes against a lot of the advice that you're going to find online. If you spend any time on tattoo YouTube, probably where you're watching this video, or in beginner forums, or in some of the cheaper online courses, you will encounter people teaching depth using a ruler. They will tell you that you set your needle at a specific measurement. I've seen them at 2 millimeters, 1.5 millimeter. Whatever the number is, it's irrelevant. But the fact that an exact measurement is being taught, and they will present this as if it is universal, settled, correct advice. And it baffles me, I'll be honest. I strongly And I want to say that again just to really emphasize this. I strongly disagree with these claims and this advice that so many artists seem to be giving. And once you understand everything that we've just discussed about the skin variations, you will understand why this advice is so terribly wrong. A fixed needle depth set to a fixed measurement assumes that all skin is the same. It assumes that 2 millimeters on the back is the same as 2 millimeters on the inner wrist. It assumes that an 18-year-old client's skin is the same as a 70-year-old client's skin. It also assumes that hydrated, healthy skin is the same as sun-damaged or weathered skin. None of that is true. A depth setting that produces a perfect line on one body part on one client on one day could produce a blowout on the next body part, the next client, the next day. The variables within skin underneath are constantly shifting from person to person, body part to body part, area to area, even inch by inch in some cases. A fixed depth setting cannot account for that. It is a workaround for not knowing how to read the skin correctly. It is what you do when you do not know what else to do. And that's a scary thought process, that people are watching these online videos and then following this advice that is completely wrong. The right way to determine depth is to read the skin in front of you in real time and adjust your technique to it. Not by guessing, not by measuring with a ruler, by developing a trained mechanical sense for what the skin in front of you is telling you, and tuning and adjusting your machine, your needle, your stretch and your pressure accordingly. This is a skill. It takes time to develop that skill, but it is a real, learnable, transferable skill. And once you have it, you can tattoo any client on any body part, on any skin type, and get the depth correct on the very first cycle. This is what I teach within my course. Not a number on a ruler, a way of reading the skin that gives you the right depth for every client, every time, without ever measuring or getting a ruler out of your pocket. I challenge this: how many conventions have you walked around full of amazing artists, and how many of those artists have you ever seen pull a ruler out before they started? The link is below if you want to learn how to do it properly, in the description somewhere. Anyone telling you that depth can be set with a ruler does not understand the variable that they are setting. The whole point of this video is that skin itself is the variable. A ruler does not measure skin, it measures distance, and distance is meaningless without the correct context. So now let me just bring all this together quickly. When is a blowout the artist's fault, and when is it not? There are broadly, in my opinion, 3 categories. The first category is the artist caused the blowout. These are entirely on you. You went too deep. Your stretch failed. You used the wrong needle for the area. You did not adjust for the skin in front of you. These are preventable failures. The skin would have accepted a clean tattoo, and you produced a blowout through technical error. You need to own these, all right? And more importantly, you need to learn from these. That's when it's 100% down to the artist. The second category, I feel, is the skin caused blowout. These are not necessarily 100% on the artist. The client has skin that, given its thickness, elasticity, age or location, was always going to produce a blowout under the tattoo needle of any reasonable depth. The client may not have even known this about their own skin. And there are people walking around right now whose inner wrists especially, their skin is so thin and so close to the bone that a clean tattoo there is essentially almost impossible without compromises. Some people's skin just truly is that thin. These blowouts are not a moral failure of the artist. They're a biological reality of the actual client. You can mitigate them by adjusting technique, choosing different needles, recommending different placements even, but if the client insists on a tattoo on a skin that does not tattoo very well, the result is partly outside of your control. They're very few and far between, but it is possible, so I don't want to leave it out. Now, the third category, which in my opinion is most blowouts, is somewhere in between those two. The skin made the work harder, the artist made a small mistake. Either alone would not have produced the blowout, but together they did. This, in my opinion, is the most common category, and it is also the most useful one to understand because it tells you that improving your technique reduces blowouts even on difficult skin, and that reading the skin properly lets you anticipate the difficulty before you even ever start. I think knowing the difference between these categories is what separates a panicked beginner from an experienced working artist. The beginner blames themselves for literally everything. We've all been there. The working artist diagnoses each blowout accurately, learns from the ones that were genuinely their fault, and forgives themselves for the ones that it wasn't all down to them. I think you need both of these skills. The honesty to own your own failures, and the perspective to recognise that ones that are not always just fully your fault. And I want to leave you with a wider thought because I think this video is more than just about blowouts in general. The variables that nobody teaches beginners about in almost any craft is the variability of the materials that they are working with. I'll give you some examples. Like in carpentry, it is the wood. Every plank is essentially different. Every grain, every moisture content slightly changes. In cooking, it's the ingredients themselves. Every cut of meat, every vegetable, every batch of flour behave slightly, ever so slightly different. In tattooing, that variable is the skin, and the skin is the most variable medium I think that any craftsperson works with, because it is alive, it is on a person, and it is different on every client, on every body part, every single day of the week. The artists who improve the fastest are the ones who learn to read the medium before they ever apply their technique. They are not following fixed rules. They are responding to what is in front of them at that moment in time. A ruler measurement, as I've already said, is a fixed rule. Reading the skin is a response. Fixed rules, by all accounts, feel safer because they remove the need for judgment, but they only work when the medium itself is uniform. And the skin on any person is never uniform. If your work has been inconsistent, look at the medium first. The skin you have been working on may be telling you things that you've not been listening to. And it's more common than what you actually think. And it'll certainly be more common than what you're thinking right now whilst watching this video. If this is the kind of teaching that you wish that you'd been given on day one, the full skin reading method, how to assess thickness, elasticity, hydration, and the right approach for every single body part, it's taught in detail in my full online course. We've also got the fundamentals of tattooing, theory first, mechanics first, causes before symptoms. The link for both of these products is below in the description somewhere. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch the next lesson on this channel either way, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully. Speak soon.